etc. So we just sent the full schedule. So you should have received that yesterday afternoon in your email. So we have 4 lightning talks today. One is from Ben, who just led our affinity group meeting, a proposal for human and machine readable manifests. The next one is from Andrea Sajic, AAAF integration into a library system. And then we have, my Zoom window is covering up the slide, Matt Jordan from Northwestern with a presentation about YIF, a front-end component suite that weaves AAAF manifests into flexible layouts. And finally, 3 museums, 1 implementation from Jeffrey Campbell at Yale University. So I am going to play these lightning talks. Let me just reshare my screen with the audio enabled. I always forget to do that. Okay. And here we go with our presentations for the day. Everyone should be able to hear
Hello,
this.
everyone. My name is Ben Bakelar, and today I want to talk about an idea for how to improve the usability of AAAF. So the idea, essentially, to give a visual reference, is to create an envelope beyond the manifest. The manifest on the right, very detailed, hard to read. The envelope on the left, easy. So let me cue up my co-author here, Debra.
Hi, I'm Debra Cashion, Digital Humanities Librarian at St. Louis University, where I'm Principal Investigator of the Metascripta Project. I'm also former President and Executive Director of Digital Scriptorium. I'm enthusiastic about introducing this presentation because it proposes a tool for working with IIIF that facilitates access for front-end users and back-end collection managers. Since its inception, the IIIF community has been very developer-driven, and the learning curve for people without technical skills can be very steep. Many librarians and scholars with sophisticated database and cataloging skills are still challenged by tasks such as diving into code libraries, working with the command line, or reading JSON files. Ben Bakelar, systems architect for the Metascripta project and head of his own consulting agency, Human Experience Systems, has dedicated much of his work to user experience. Ben addresses the issue of JSON files with his idea for a user-friendly synopsis of a IIIF manifest, represented as an HTML folder that he likens to an envelope. As a collection manager and a scholar, I think Ben's idea has great potential for contributing to the progress of the IIIF community towards a more inclusive, less technically demanding environment for learning and implementation. And now I will turn the presentation back to Ben.
Okay, here we go. So to developers, we know the manifest is a IIIF object, and I kind of think it gets treated as a sort of dust to sprinkle on to existing systems, right? And that kind of makes sense. So IIIF being about the manifest, whether it's the structure on the right or the code on the left. But to users, the image is the IIIF object. That's what they're interested in. They want the image. They don't care if it's JPEG, PDF, IIIF, right? They just want the image. Of course, IIIF makes it a lot better. So IIIF looks like an image or like a document. And so the question I think of is IIIF a viewing experience, which I think is how it's treated currently, or is it an object or document in and of itself? So I went back to the About IIIF page to see how is it described here. And a lot of it references images, right? But the average user is intimidated by the manifest, which is code. Okay, so Not too much difference, actually, once I got this comparison document here. The manifest on the right, I can barely read it, you know. So what if we created an envelope for each manifest using standard HTML? So many benefits, right? So the HTML envelope wraps or encapsulates, or whatever word you want to use, the JSON manifest. There are some other potential benefits of creating envelopes. We could get into more academic discussions about that. But overall, what I want to do is show what I've created. So I have a sort of poor man's prototype, which extracts certain information from the JSON manifest and displays it as an HTML file. So you can access it currently here. We're in the middle of some server moves. And this is what it looks like. So imagine we have a HTML file, and it contains a certain set of information that comes directly from the manifest. It's the same information. Now we have something that we can point to, that users can point to and sort of grasp digitally, that's human readable. The content of the manifest is visible. The appearance is familiar. We can have a web page preview image generated, and it is savable to the desktop. This HTML file could be saved and could be opened and viewed. Now that's true of JSON files also, but nobody, right? Nobody is using, the developers aren't using the objects themselves, and the researchers and scholars aren't able to use the JSON. So it becomes more archivable, I think, with systems like archive.org, and I think it might lend itself to bookmarking, existing bookmarking services, whether they're scholarly or consumer-driven. So for the entire slide set, including further thoughts and details in slides after this one, you can go to metascripted.org/presentations. Thank you very much.
All right, and so for our next presentation, let me just close out of this really quick. We have IIIF integration into a library system from Andrea Sajic.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Andrea Sagic. I'm the head of the Digital Development Department of Small Public Library Milutin Bojic in Belgrade and Serbia. I'm also a IIIF ambassador, and this lightning talk is named IIIF integration in OPAC. Actually, that means access to digital content in public catalog. So let's begin. Well, every public library today, and even decades ago, have a public catalog which name OPAC. So what was the idea here? It was, we are looking for the way how to directly preview digital content from our digital libraries and our digital repository directly into the public catalog. So we've searched for different solutions how to do that, and I can say we are find one very valuable solution. It's with IIIF integration into our OPAC. So I don't want to bothering you about some technical issues, which I will explain it when we see it in how it works. And of course, first we go to the public catalog of my library Milutin Bojic, Uh, it's all on Cyrillic. Of course, it's for Serbian country, and I don't think so you have a problem with that. As you see on the first page, there's some featured collection. Here is the Serbian song, the digital edition, which is in our which is of our interest. It's poetry, etc. So how we do that? As you see, here is the digital editions. When I click on one of them, for example this, I got the title and the description. So here is the small button which said it's a digital view and show. When I click on a digital view, the Mirador version 3 is opened directly into the APAC, and I can preview book directly. Of course, when I click the sidebar, the first is opened, search the text. So I can search the text right here. Let's see. As you see, after 3 letters, the suggestions are shown. Let's see where it is, and of course you get the result right here. So this is from the Milutin Bojic library, and also as the second library, library of city of Belgrade. We also have their digital, and as you see, this description and the same digital view show. So when it's also, I can search the text, I can get the index, this is copyright, and this is the description also. How we did it? We just put the IIIF link into the description, and the OPAC, if see the field with IIIF manifest link, he automatically create this field and add the Mirador viewer, so you can watch directly into the OPAC. You can preview the digital content. So, and if you like, here is a link that goes directly to the digital library, and you can search further the digital library and the content of digital library. And this 6 minutes, I would like to thank you. If any question, please send it on the chat, or directly I can answer. Thank you.
So next we have Yith.
Hey all, I'm Matt Jordan. I'm a front-end developer with Northwestern University Libraries, and I was previously with the University of Tennessee Libraries. Today I want to show you a small application that empowers content curators and developers such as myself to easily insert IIIF content from manifests into modern web layouts. Here you'll see 2 different manifests with a preview rendered from that manifest JSON. There is no large view at first, only the label for the manifest, a thumbnail, and the required statement if it exists. When a user clicks in, a Mirador 3 viewer will show, allowing for deep zoom and panning. I just want to say that the Right now, we're just using the mirrored viewer as a proof of concept, but perhaps this might also be in the future viewer agnostic. In addition to be able to view information about this manifest, I can also hit next, and I'll take the user to the next manifest that is in that YIF sequence that was highlighted here. I can also jump back into a specific manifest if I'd like to. How did this come about? Well, during my time at Tennessee, I was given the task of attempting to create a IIIF-based exhibits platform. Our requirements were rather simple. All objects and works represented in our exhibit must be sourced via IIIF manifest using the presentation API. And the user experience was important, and we didn't want to simply plop a block of text above a viewer. We really wanted to be able to tell a story, and specifically we wanted to tell a story leveraging annotations across a 500 canvas manifest and present that story about the document to the user. So in addition to being able to walk through manifests, we wanted to be able to walk through canvases. In this particular example right here, you can sort of see that this manifest has 4 canvases selected. This particular manifest, I think, has actually 15, but I have chosen these. And when the user clicks in, we start at canvas 0. But then we sort of walk through the specific ones that I have curated. Also, we wanted to be able to walk through different annotations, maybe highlight specific regions of a canvas. And so when I click into this manifest, I think I have about 7 or 8 annotations loaded into this one. And as I begin to walk through them, I will do a sort of a pan zoom automation that takes the user to the specific region that is housed in the target of that annotation. Right here, you'll see Tacoma City Market. That is the text that is coming from the annotation. And that alongside the rest of this IIIF content. So what happens if you want to sort of combine all 3 examples into one? Well, you can do that. This is an example with 3 different manifests. The first just being a manifest loading canvas 0. The second being a manifest loading multiple canvases. And the third here being a manifest with annotations associated with it. And so if I can sort of pick and choose as a user where I want to sort of jump into that sequence, or I could start from the beginning and walk through each step of the way. So this is what it might look like if you sort of started to insert these YIF figures, YIF components alongside actual content within like WordPress or a Mecca, that you can sort of see how you're sort of building a modern web layout that users maybe have come to expect, but it is housing IIIF content in a very user-friendly way. And the user can jump in and out of each item. Here you'll sort of see that this is the mirrored view, but we're actually presenting the full mirrored view because maybe we want to show metadata as well. Down below here, I think we're going to jump into one that doesn't have the full mirrored UI and sort of presents just specific canvases that we want to show to the user. So YIF is built with the Hyperion framework by Stephen Fraser, Digerati. This fetches manifests, and because we're using the Hyperion framework to fetch our manifests, this YIF supports both Presentation 2 and Presentation 3 manifests. And one other goal for YIF is that it should be consumed by other applications. Going this route will allow us to one day maybe live in a WordPress plugin or in a Mecca S module, and allow us to do that without impacting the core code of YITH itself. Finally, I want to thank my colleagues at the University of Tennessee and Northwestern for inspiring this work. Thanks. Bye.
And now for our final talk, 3 museums, 1 implementation.
Thank you for joining this lightning talk, 3 museums, 1 implementation. My name is Jeffrey Campbell, and I'm the Associate Director for Digital Asset Technologies, which is part of Central ITS at Yale University. My team supports common system and technology needs for our cultural heritage organizations. In today's talk, we'll introduce you to our 3 museums. I'll tell you how the IIIF implementation fits into our larger digital asset management ecosystem. I'll share how the museums are leveraging the system, and I'll share a bit about what's next. The museums. Yale Centre for British Art houses the largest collection of British art outside of the UK. The initial collection was created by Paul Mellon and willed to Yale after his death. It has expanded since then. The Yale University Art Gallery is one of the largest university art galleries in the US, started in the 1700s. And the Yale Peabody Museum of Natural History has been part of Yale for more than 150 years, with vast collections ranging from dinosaurs and minerals, butterflies and plants, to anthropological collections. Our museums have one central implementation of IIIF, supported by my team in Central ITS, and which leverages the museum's shared digital asset management ecosystem. At a very high level, the ecosystem looks like this. Along the left, you'll see that the museums manage their collections within their collection management systems. These are the systems of truth where content is tightly controlled and access is limited. The museums are responsible for pushing data and copies of the master images to something called Traffic Manager, or TMAN. TMAN is a custom workflow application which manages getting master images and metadata into Preservica, which is the preservation dam, and 4K derivatives into NetX, which is used as a professional dam and is accessed by curators, exhibition, and communication staff. The museums also publish data via activity streams, which are monitored by our Content Delivery Service, or CDS2, which leverages that data along with the images and additional metadata from TMAN to generate pyramidal TIFFs and IIIF manifests. The Content Delivery Service provides the IIIF content that each of the museums use for their collections portal. Our implementation choices include the image and presentation APIs, pyramidal TIFFs as our image format, AWS for our infrastructure, Terraform, Cantaloupe Image Server, Go programming language, and activity streams for metadata harvesting. The basic flow follows this. Along the left, the museums populate the TMAN database, upload master images, and publish activity streams. For CDS2, the activity stream triggers the creation of the IIIF image and manifest via the harvester. Image metadata and object metadata are combined in a central database, allowing for the creation and storage of the manifest as flat JSON files. Images are converted into pyramidal TIFFs and non-IIIF images are collected. Both types of media are put into each unit's storage areas. In this physical diagram, you can see we are using Docker containers running on Fargate, giving us the ability to easily scale based on load and need using CloudWatch. Additionally, we make extensive use of the simple queuing service SQS, RDS Postgres, S3, and EFS. The way IIIF is used by the museums. The art gallery is embedding links to the IIIF content into tools for both their internal staff, such as their media editor system and TMS, along with adding links into their collections portal. The static thumbnails are provided by a centrally supported image cache, and the links use the image server and viewer. The Yale Peabody Museum is also leveraging the central system for thumbnails and the image server and image viewer. Now, the Yale Center for British Art is a core founding member of the IIIF Consortium, joining in 2015, around when they deployed Mirador 2 for their online collections. But today, the center leverages the centrally supported system along with their own IIIF viewer. In addition to using IIIF in their collections, they've started to expand the use of IIIF to include interactives, which borrow from the Stories application developed by CogApp and Tristan Rudis. But the highlight of what's taking place at Yale is the collaboration amongst the different organizations. IIIF is everywhere and is the de facto format for collections. In addition to the museums, the library has stood up their own collections portal. IIIF Everywhere enables a conversation around new tools for research as well as teaching and learning with Yale's collections amongst all the other organizations. What started years ago as the best way to address common DAM needs led to a wide-scale adoption of IIIF. The collaboration led to additional conversations around a discovery platform. These conversations expanded to include metadata harmonization across units and the introduction of linked data at an enterprise scale, which in turn will lead to additional tools for research, teaching, and learning, along with greater exposure and use of Yale's collections at home and abroad. Small successes build on each other and lead to greater trust and collaboration. I'd like to thank you for listening to this lightning talk, and for more information about our implementation, please check out the lightning talk Rights in the Presentation Manifest, Implementation at Yale, presented by Melissa Fournier. Thank you.
All right, so that is about it for our lightning talks today. Let me get our schedule back up. So we now have a 30-minute break from 10:30 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we'll then start the session on reaching the right people with IIIF. So see you all back here in about 30 minutes.